they say Zambia Kuchalo, right? Yeah, amidst us we have the Prophet Shepard bushiri, who is our guest of honor. Prophet, would like to thank you for coming to this conference. It shows your commitment, your love, and the support that you have for young people in this country. When we invited you, we were doubting, but you said, I'm coming and I'm gonna come, and here you are. Please, let's put some hands for Prophet Shepard bushiri. To us today, you're not just a guest of honor, but you're also a blessing. A lot of these young people, they're here because they wanted to listen to Domi. At the same time, they haven't eaten anything because they're waiting to listen to you as well. So without wasting much of your time, let me give you the podium. Thank you.
Wonderful. Please be seated. Wonderful again to meet this wonderful man. And he's a great man. I know him from Zambia, and the great, wonderful success that he's moving on. It's amazing. To all of you that are here, I just want to once again tell you something that is very important in a few minutes. I come from a background that most of you come from. Most of our backgrounds in Malawi are similar with most African countries, including Zambia. The background I come from, most people, normally when they talk about success and doing things and achieving things, they affiliate such with connections with some families, some politicians. To the contrary, I come from a background without any political connection. I come from a background without any affiliation with a rich family or whatsoever. I come from a background which most of you come from. And I do believe that if I'm doing it, I didn't say if I made it, because I'm still doing it. So I didn't say if I made it. I'm saying if I am doing it, you can also do it. Right now, I'll start from here. I'm coming from a warehouse. This year, I think we are on the top 2 or top 3 biggest producers in this country of grain. And you know there is going to be hunger in this country this year, like you have never seen. But Goshen Farms just produced a lot of grain in this season. Why? So we'll start from there, because I'll be talking about going into how can we rebrand the ecosystem of entrepreneurship in Malawi. So to start with, I want all of you to listen to this. I had a friend, his name was Lamek. This friend, he used to have few things which I didn't have, because he was a person who was normally doing small businesses as we were growing up. And all what was coming from his mouth was that, just do it. Whenever I meet him, he would say, I do it because whatever I want to do, just do it. And this is a very important word to most people here. And unfortunately, I'm not a person who like talking. I like action. So what I'll be teaching you, or what I'll speak about, is not to do with talking. It will be based on action. How can you act? We've been talking for a long time. And I'm not a talking person. I just do it. So this guy kept on telling me, just do it. And I was so young at that time, and I didn't even know what he was talking about, because this guy also was young, and he was my friend. So if he was my friend at that time, definitely he was also young. But this man at least could have some money, some little things, and he kept on saying, just do it. This is how I began to understand the power of just do it, which is known as action. We may have a lot of business plans, business proposals, But if there is no action, it's useless. It's like politicians. You know, politicians will tell you, will do it, but they'll not tell you a date. You didn't hear me. Politicians, they will say they will do it, but they'll not tell you what? A date. So even if it happens 20 years later, they'll say, but we said we'll do it. So, but we are not from that set of rules. We operate from a set of rules that we need it now. If you have someone next to you, tell them we need it now. Just tell them action. I don't know for what reasons, but I have so much faith that there must be 4 or 5 people here who will be billionaires. And trust you me, you will remember this and you will say, I was sitting and this guy was talking like nonsense. But actually, it happened. So hear this, what I want to tell you. So when I was growing up, as I said before, that our background is similar with many African countries. I heard him when he was saying at 22, he had tracks, and the people already were fighting him to say he must be a Satanist. I don't know who has given Africa that knowledge that Satan makes people rich. Otherwise, many people could be rich because many people have Satan. I'm telling you. If Satan was making people rich, then many people could be so rich because many people have Satan. Number one. Number two, if there is a charm to make people rich, then Africa could be the richest continent because there are more charms in Africa than any part in the world. True or false? I do believe that the biggest charm for success is yourself. Your determination, your focus, how you understand things, the knowledge you have, your hard work. These are the medication for success. Now, I want you to go back to it's wonderful. Eh? It's another entrepreneurship happening up there. There is a job up there. All right. So what I want to talk to you is on the I just leave them. They're about to finish checking. All right. So on the ecosystem of entrepreneurship, I want just to share with you this. Number one, that is most important, that I want all of you to pay attention, is on the subject of capital. Capital. Hear this word capital. I repeat this statement again, capital. How many here have plans and they want to have capital? For business or for something? Can you stand up? You? Yeah? Yeah, what plan do you have? What's your capital? Like how much? Okay, a good example. He says his problem is to find 400,000 for capital. And you?
Long-term business and short-term business. The short-term business will assist me to raise the money for the long-term business.
And what's the capital for the short one?
The capital for the short one is 4 million.
4 million. All right. Who else has a business? Just a question. I just want to know, before I talk to you, I want to know who am I talking to. You might be talking to wrong people. All right. I want to hear you. Just a minute. Yeah? What is it?
All right, I have an organization that deals with mental health, and my capital to promote my project is 64 million.
64 million. All right. Let's start with this man. Just come over here. Yeah. Let's look at this. Just come over here, sir. Just how many contacts, just roughly, do you have in your phone? Like phone numbers?
Like in total phone numbers?
Yeah. Just roughly.
About 1,000 maybe.
1,000 contacts. Great. Thank you so much. All right. So we have like 1,000 contacts. Did you hear that, right? How many among all those contacts you have, how many people do you think, if you can say you need 1,000, they're going to give you?
How many people would give me?
If you can say you want to borrow 1,000 from them, and they would borrow you 1,000, how many people do you think out of all those contacts?
Yeah, a lot of them I believe they would give me, because
Wow,
1,000.
amazing.
Okay, let's say 700.
700.
700.
Now that's 700,000, right? And
Yes.
his capital is 400,000, right? Do you know that we have everything? The problem is not trying. You didn't hear me.
Yeah, for sure.
The problem is we have everything, but the problem is not trying. Can you try one day? Just take your phone and begin to say, hey, I'm waiting. You're 10,000, 5,000, 10,000, I'll give you. You're trying to do a business, isn't it? Now you wanted to do, is it chickens? You speak about chickens? Now just a good example. Like myself, where I am, my contacts, all my contacts I have, at least all of them, my contacts, right? If I can say I need 4 million, they'll all give. You see now you're quiet. So that takes us to the redefining one, entrepreneurship. The ecosystem, what happens? Most people will talk about innovation. We hear people talking about innovation, coming up with an idea, but the biggest innovation, it is on capital innovation, having skill to raise money. That is where most people fail. Your business design. If you want to do something else, your business design. How do you design? How did you design it? When I came back, when I was in South Africa, I had almost everything. I had private jets. I had everything. Hotels, anything you mention it. And due to xenophobia and all other factors, they took everything. They took all my accounts, and I came back here on zero in this country. But I can tell you that within the 3 years I've been in this country, I think I'm even better 2 times than I was in South Africa. And one person who asked me a question, how do you do it? I said to every entrepreneur, it's not the money in the account, it is an opportunity. Give every entrepreneur an opportunity. They'll prove you that it's not about the money which is in the account, it is the opportunity in front of them. Now, this is what I want to speak to all of you. When I went to start building Goshen City, which is the most important thing to talk about today, I went there, I didn't have any money, and some people don't know the story, what happened. So when I came back to Malawi, I had known that place in Mangoshi because I had gone there. There's a place called Pumulani Lodge, and I had gone there with my family in 2018. So because I knew the area, when we were driving by, I saw a bush, a very big bush. And I was like, who owns this bush? And to me, at that period in time, I was like, looks like it's a good place we can go and pray. So I forgot about it when I went to South Africa in 2020. When I came back here, I was like, I think there is a bush there. I should go and pray. So I didn't go there because I was going there for business. I went there to pray. Now when I was in the bush, I was telling God that, God, I had everything. I lost everything. I come here to ask you for everything. Much better. All right, so I was saying that I didn't come here to pray for for you to give me anything. I've just come here to thank you for the gift of life. When I was right there in the bush, an idea came. I looked at the bush around, an idea came. I said, do you know you can build a city here? And I was like, come on. I think this is me again with my ego. City? And my mind kept on coming so strong that you can build a city here. And I looked around, I was on top of there's a small hill there. I looked around and I began to see a town. I began to see buildings, apartments, and I had no money. At that time, most people who used to phone me when I was in South Africa stopped even phoning me because bushiri is finished. And I called the people I went with. I said, guys, we're going to build a city here. And I remember one guy actually, he went home and told his wife, I think we need to pray for Major One. I think psychologically he's affected. Now I'm saying these things to you and they're very true. But the biggest problem was how to generate the money to build the city. So I had no money, so what do you do? So I went to the community. I met the chief who was there and I told them that I want to build a city in this area. Are you here or you're home? You are here, right? I want to build a city here. And he said, wow, that land belongs to so many people. And I'm like, I want to meet those people. So we had a meeting with so many villagers who own the land. I said, wow, I'll buy you this land. I want you to sign here. All of you, let's make a contract. And I'm going to pay you in the next 2 months. As simple as that. So if you want to be into innovation, before you settle out your dream or your innovation, you must understand the power of brand equity. Brand equity is the perception of the consumer about a product or a service. What do people think of your product or of your service? And that is the most important, the brand equity. The value, what you build, what will people think? So most of the times we just think about, I want to start a business, but we don't think about the consumer's perception. What will they think? Because what drives every thriving business is brand equity. Now, so I want to do the project. I went to the banks here in Malawi. All banks, they said they can't give me a loan. And that's probably what they will tell you too. If you go to bank now, they will say they will not give you a loan. But you want to do it. And you want to do it. So I said, wow, what would I do? So I went to the people again. I said, listen, I'm going to pay you. Let's have an agreement that you'll be part of this, what I'm doing. Until I pay you, then you'll be out. And they all agreed. So we'll sell, we'll develop this land until I pay you out together. They agreed. So we demarcated the plots. And in the plans, there was a certain area which I said this one will be for anyone who wants to develop. It will not be part of Goshen City, but it's part of Goshen City, but for anyone who wants to develop. So we zoned that area, made the plots that area, and I went on TV and said, I'm building a city. And people began to come, what about if we want land? Can we buy land there? I said, no problem. So we sold them all those other plots, made enough money to pay off all the villagers, kept more money, invested in the farm. I think you're looking at me like there was no bank. There was no nothing. So the farm began to produce money, and we began to capitalize that, and we began to develop. We began to develop. As we speak now, there are 86 buildings standing and 115 buildings starting again this year. You tell me, did you come with money? No. There was written no money. To all people who know how I did the project, they know actually that there was no money, but there was an idea. So the idea much was the innovation. It's not about the Goshen City. People are talking about, oh, you're such an innovator. We have seen your plans. But listen to me, the biggest innovation is not in what we are doing. It is in capital generation. How do you generate capital without any single money? And this is where I'm talking about. That's why I asked that man over there, he has a project he wants to do and he's looking for 400,000 and he has not yet tried. So it is very important to understand that if we have to redefine the innovation in the entrepreneurship, we need to go into understanding that the biggest place of innovation is not in having an idea, but it is in brand equity. You need to create a perception, what people think about the product. So when we began Goshen City, we built, first of all, the most famous word I normally use to so many people, the momentum. So we have someone here who wants to do a project of 60 million. Is it 64 million? All right, 64 million. But if I may actually maybe ask some of your family members, they don't even know about it. Like someone told me, he's like, I'm going to become a big musician. I'm like, oh, really? He's like, I've done a song. I'm like, oh, can I hear your song? So he played the song and I was listening to it. And I'm like, oh, where's your brother? He's like, this is my brother. I'm like, come here. And I played the song. I'm like, do you know this song? Even the brother didn't know the song. And the guy is talking about becoming international. So if you want, for example, what he said over there, he has an idea, but that idea it has not yet built a perception. If I go on his Facebook page right now, if I check on his back cover of his profile, all right, I might actually not find his business over there. Because the first thing you need to do is write on your Facebook. You can't have a business that if we go on Facebook, we won't even find anything. Right now, your profile is supposed to be your business. If you go on your Facebook page, there is a back page on your Facebook. It's supposed to be your business. But guess what? We will find people who actually do not have that. And they want business, they want this to be done. How will that be? It's completely not possible. So the first word to speak to all of you here, begin to think, how would I create the brand value? The brand value, the brand equity. What do people think of this product? What do they think of this service? And that is the most important thing. So if you want to do something, look at the example I've just given you. Simple example. Now, when I did that, when the banks began to read in the newspapers about how much tons and tons of seed they have, how many buildings are standing already at Goshen City, the same banks began to say, can we have a meeting? You said how much you want? I'm saying, I don't need any loan. Same banks. Because at first there was no brand equity. You see, to them, they want to see something that has got the value. So if they deny you, go out and create the value. They will come after you. It won't be you going to them. It will be them coming after you. We're living in the world that is very advantaged, but it's a world of internet, a world of everything. So possible to pass your message to the world is just in seconds. You can actually do it. So the first thing that you need to do and look at right this moment is consider what I've told you. Build a very wonderful brand equity. What do people think of your service? What do they think? And no one will tell you. No one will tell them. It is you who must do it. And that is the most important thing that I wanted to share with you. And lastly, that I want to tell you, apart from the brand equity, it is also on how people, more especially in Africa, like quitting. Most people have brilliant ideas, but with time, they end up saying, I think I'm stopping it. I think I can't do it. So most dreams which we have here today, if I may ask you, 4 years ago you had a different dream. To those who are still standing on their dream are very few. And I must say to them, keep it up. Because what is most interesting in entrepreneurship, in business, it is doing what you love and doing what you don't love. No, you didn't hear what I just said. Doing what you love and doing what you don't what? For example, myself, I don't love I don't love farming. I've never thought of farming. Like I don't, just none of. But when I saw the issue, how the fertilizer, the problem, the crisis we had last year, it was so easy to predict the future. There will be hunger. So you are forced to do what you don't like because there's an opportunity that you see that's going to happen in the future. Because in every entrepreneurship, it is about what opportunities do you see. Normally in entrepreneurship, we all know this, that it is about seeing an opportunity during crisis. The reason why Indians will become rich and richer over us, it is because they always look at an opportunity during crisis. So if you check in Malawi, who controls all inputs? It's Indians. They control starting from seeds, fertilizer, all these things. There is, maybe if we have, probably 1 or 2 Malawians, but most people who are controlling such are Indians. So they control inputs, all inputs, fertilizer, pesticides. All these things are controlled and managed. The business of all these inputs is Indians. Why? Because they are good at looking at a crisis and then they bring a solution. They find an opportunity, and that's entrepreneurship. So sometimes, if you want to do something, look at what you don't like, even if you don't like it. But is there an opportunity? That's why I said it is not just doing what you like. Sometimes it is also doing what you don't like. So we have people who are saying, I want to do a salon. I want to do a salon. Oh, my business is a salon. I know you like doing it. But then if you find that there are not much opportunities, why do you still stick on salon because you like it? Sometimes you can actually go to what you don't like because you find an opportunity in that area. So if you have to go into innovation, entrepreneurship, you need to understand how the whole ecosystem operates. It operates starting from the capital innovation, your business design, what is happening with your plan, and what you want to do in the near future. That's why I said, if you have a plan, never quit. If you have an idea, never quit. Sometimes you can actually hold it on for a little because you want to do something. I loved what he said. He said he has got a short-term and a long-term plan. And he wants to do a short-term in order to raise capital to support the long-term business. All right? In fact, what he likes is the long-term. He might not like the short one, but it will help him to have money to assist him in the what? In the long term. So in business, it is much to do with action. Don't quit. No matter what, keep on believing your dream and add value into it. Brand equity, create a perception, and that is the most important thing. And as I said before, that I come from background which most of you will know, as he was saying, my brand equity was tarnished. He's a Satanist. 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 I grew up, being rejected by people saying that boy is a Satanist. And you even wonder, like, Satanist, what did I do? What wrong did I do? There's no wrong you do, but why are you successful? And we are not. We were in the same class, same desk, and you're doing better than us. You must be a Satanist. Any maize meal, any nice maize meal in the village, there must be that sound. How do you do that? Simple and straightforward. As he was saying it, that these are things which happen, and you need to understand the secret of harnessing every opportunity that you have. Work, on your idea. Add a value, add equity into it. I was giving an example, I don't know, where was that? When I gave an example of money. Where was that? I gave an example of money. For example, let me give an example. Anyone else with any money? I promise you I'll give you back. I gave an example. I think there was somewhere I was talking, I've forgotten where it could be. Now, this is money, right? Now, if I take this money and I go in the toilet and come back, is it still money? And I go again in the toilet and I come back, you still receive it? The power of money. It's a value. Even if I take it, I squeeze it, and I give you, will you receive it? Yes. Are you sure? Yes. If I take it, then I actually put it on the floor and step on it and take it back. Will you receive it? Yes. Are you sure? Even if someone comes and says, "You money, you are evil," I take it and I speak bad things to it. You are evil. You are very foolish, and I take it. Will you receive it? Do you know why you receive? It has value. It has what? Value. It's value. So if you want to be if you want to achieve anything in life, the first thing you need to create is value. Trust you, me. The biggest thing you have to is value. That is most important, which most people don't know and don't talk about in entrepreneurship. Create your personal value. I repeat, if this money, I take it and I squeeze it, and I say, you will receive it. And that's what I can tell you. Create value for yourself. So where does the value come from? The value is not this paper you are seeing. The value is at Reserve Bank. This money is backed by a certain product. It could be gold or any product at Reserve Bank. The moment the products in the Reserve Bank are depleted, it loses value. The more the Reserve Bank is getting more product, it gains value. So what controls its value? This one. It is not this paper. It is what is behind it. And that is the Reserve Bank. Did you hear that? One statement from the president can make it lose value. If Biden makes a statement to say, we feel like there is an economic crisis this coming week, for all people who know trading, immediately all trade markets in America, they begin to go down. People begin to take money out of their markets. One speech from the president. So the value of the money in the Reserve Bank is on the mouth of a president. And the value of your business is on your mouth. Now you didn't hear, just said. So if I take this money, squeeze it, and put it down and step on it and take it and say, you still receive it, isn't it? Exactly. And that is what some of us did. You can step on Bushiri, lie about him, put him in the toilet and remove him, and the world will still love him. Because it's not about what you think, what you say. It is about the value he created for himself. Are you hear what I'm saying? So if you are having anything you want to do, create value. Put value in it. No matter how. That's a set you. How do you create the value? What you say about the product. What you think about it. Begin to expose your product, your dream. And it is very, very important. And in that said, I was in a meeting, in conclusion, let me just say this to you. Oh, your man, sir. I I was in a meeting some point in time. I was in a meeting, and in this meeting, there was a certain gentleman who was there, and I was telling the people I was with, I said, I want to meet that guy. I want to meet him. The man was so good in business. I also do business. But the man was just amazing in a business. We have a very big office in Dubai, known as Bushiri Consultancy in Dubai. It's one of the most successful businesses I have in Dubai. Last year, we won the best award, the whole Dubai, as the best consulting firm. Our company. Last year, we also did the same. All right? And I think some of you saw it on the internet. However, I wanted something from this man. Very successful man. So we are sitting in a meeting. There were some business tycoons over there. But this man, I wanted to meet him because of what he does and how he does things. So I went to meet him, and I'm like, how are you, sir? And I'm fine. I'm like, I want you to tell me how you do it. So he began to talk to me how he does and all that. And that is what changed my business in Dubai. What does that mean to you? On the brand equity, on the value, the perception of people, you need to have what is known as knowledge. These are the things you add in order to create the brand equity, your own value. How do you become that valuable? You need to add the following things. One, knowledge. You need to meet people who have done it before. The way you are right now, there are people who are talking to you right now. They have done some few things, or they are still doing some few things. Value comes by what you know, number one. Number two, who you meet. It is not about what you know only. We have got IT experts in Malawi who are very broke. They know everything about the computer. And there are people who know nothing about the computer. They know only little information. But there are people they met, and they are more bigger than experts of computer. It is not what you know, it's who. So, in value, we create more connections, more relationships. I am a Christian, okay? I'm a Christian. But I wonder why Muslims, Hindus, Indians, they actually, when they look at me, they're like, hey, boss. I know that these guys, they know I'm a Christian. But to them, it's not about associating with the bushiri because he's a Christian. To them, they know how to create value. They want to have people they know. Because in everything you do, it's about who do you know. Nobody must lie to you. Create such relationships. In business, all businesses you see, if they're thriving, they've got what is known as partners. So if you want to create value, have knowledge, have something you know, and have who you know. These will help you to have value. With these words, I want to take some few questions. Any other question here? Please, from any question you want to ask, I'll answer. Yeah, please. Yeah, let's start with you.
My question is on skill. For example, I'm a skilled person as an IT, but I don't have any connection with people.
Start again your question.
I'm an IT technician.
All right.
Yeah.
You are an IT
technician.
You have the skill, but you don't have connection.
Yes.
So what's your question?
So how I can make it in life? I have a good skill, but I don't have right connection.
Are you an IT person?
Yes.
Okay. So your biggest question is, how can I make it? And I've said the first thing, have knowledge, what you know. And you said you know IT. Second, create Connections. The fact that you are in places like here, where you're seeing people, other entrepreneurs like us who are standing here, can we know what you do? Why can't you just connect like now? Can you? I wish you just said it. Major one, can I have your phone number?
I'll get it.
All right, so here's a question. I don't know, but he says, how do I make it? I've got skill, but I do not have connections. That's why I said, it's possible, you can make it. But as I said before, you need still to have connections. It's very important. Even if you have a product, even if you have got a farm of bananas, you need connections where to sell them. True or false? It's not about what you know. It's who you know. You must have a market. You must have available market. You must know somebody. So in business and in entrepreneurship, it is creating connections. Who you know. Who do you know? And that is the most important thing. All right? And shockingly, in the business world, we know each other. We know each other. Trust you me. If you ask him, he will tell you, we know each other. I know. And he's here, he's speaking here, and I'm coming here, and I'm seeing him again. I'm like, yeah. You see? So we meet. We know each other. But that's the most important thing, that actually people who are not entrepreneurs do not do. They do not create, connections. So it's important. You have come over here, a place like here, you find investing in a simple business card, it's not expensive. In a place like this, you just share your business card. You see? Another entrepreneur is already sharing business cards right now. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is, you see, I just go to one now, and I'm able to know Small and Medium Enterprises Development Institute. At least I'm able to know him, what he does. And in a place like this, you just share your business cards. It doesn't really, it's not difficult. So sometimes to create value, it's yourself. As I said before, you are the value, and invest in that. So first of all, as you said, how do I make it? I said it's possible to do it, but I can promise you, not in 21st century. In 21st century, it is about creating an environment. Creating an environment of partnerships with the people, and that's the most important. You have a question at the back over there.
Yes, my name is Linkson Mwaiwala. My question is, part of it, it's a question because I've seen most of entrepreneurs starting, and then in the process they fail and then they are gone. So for example, maybe the adoption of school management system here in Malawi. I used to procure one from the Indian company. So when we take it to the market for the local people to get it was an issue until maybe when COVID came in, and then by that time maybe I've already stopped thinking of that. So with the market which we operate, there's this issue of perception whereby people, they feel like not to support a local provider of the same services. So how do we overcome this kind of perception in our setup of Malawi? Because I've seen even fellow entrepreneurs maybe starting small, maybe producing small things, but it's always hard for us to adopt a product and then promote it at a local level. By then this entrepreneur may lose hope, and then maybe lack of funds contribute to his suffocation. So how can we overcome
I think
this?
the most important thing is consistency and never giving up and never giving in. I'm telling you, what you're saying is true. I can give you a lot of examples. For example, myself, all right? I have so many projects. I would say I have this project. And you find that other people will come from Europe with the same projects, and they'll have serious support from governments. In fact, even the community than a local person starting something. Because in Malawi, no one will believe in your dreams until it is successful. No, you didn't hear this statement. In Malawi, no one will believe in your dream until it is successful. So keep on pushing, because no one will support it. And this is the fact. And that's the fact. But your biggest question was, how do you do it? Because it's like there are two questions in what you said, because you spoke about why entrepreneurs start something and not finish it. And then you also spoke about why kind of like the community do not support a local product more than a foreign product. And that would come on the second question about why the community support this more than that. Would be what we said before, that the perception, which can be dealt with the brand equity, where we said that create more value. I'll give you an example. There was a mine somewhere in Malawi here, a mine, all right? And they were selling this mine. They were looking for investors to invest in this mine, and no one was giving money for the investment in Mzimba. So I went there, and when I went there, we went with a machine that detects. So we had a company that is well-known in Malawi, reputable company that they do with those type of surveillances. So we went there, and when I arrived there, the whole story went around that bushiri went on that mine. And there were some Chinese people who wanted to buy that mine, but they could not buy it. But the day they heard that bushiri was there, just hearing bushiri was there, I didn't even buy it. I just went there to see. And I left. But the fact they heard bushiri was there, it created a competition. Chinese immediately bought it, thinking I want to buy it. I wasn't even going to buy it. But the value went there. Value went there. So who went there? It's like, this guy went there. And they made their due diligence on social media. They checked who is this guy. And then they saw our minds and all that. They're like, this guy's going to buy them. And that wasn't the case. But they bought them. Why? Because of value, as I said before. So these people who were to settle their mind, they couldn't settle their mind until they associated themselves with value. So their value equity increased. That's why if you see Ronaldo being interviewed, he'll be drinking Coca-Cola there. And you'll be thinking he's drinking Coca-Cola. But actually, he's paid to drink Coca-Cola on an interview. So the Coca-Cola knows the value Ronaldo has. The same way with you, if you do business, what those people, they have managed to do, which we haven't done, they have made this brand equity, the perception of Malawians towards a foreign good or service or product is more higher than their perception towards a local product. So we need also to build our own value. We need to add that value over that. And I think I have answered the question correctly. Oh, thank you. Your question. I've got two more questions. Yeah.
It has always been a challenge here in Malawi in working on rebranding. Maybe you are known of another brand, and that brand has not been effective, or the market has not accepted it. How do you rebrand so as it should be accepted by the market?
Rebranding, so that it can be accepted in the market. So your question again, you said you had a brand and then lost what? What are you saying?
Assuming like, for example, the post office of Malawi, it was of value in years back, but this time around the post office of Malawi cannot make the same money that it used to make. So how do they plan? Like producing a product or involving themselves in a new business or in a business carrying another name, or so as there should be profits?
I think that now takes us to what is known as value innovation. Okay? Value innovation is when you think, for example, I'm going to give you a good example on types of innovation, which is known as the continued innovation. All right? The continued innovation. For example, the iPhone. Their secret is that they know, because we are living in the 21st century where people do not stay on a product, they stay on a trend. So if you have to maintain the brand value, you need to maintain the trend. So people will not go and buy you because you look nice. They will buy you because you are trending. You understand, right? So if you look at post office, most of their innovation, I don't want to talk much about their business, but if you look at their innovation, is failing to cope up with the new technology that is happening out there. So as they were busy doing letters, okay, somebody came and disrupted their markets with disruptive innovation and brought in email. So why should I go to post office and post a letter if I can just email it? As email was busy thinking we are here, somebody came with messenger. I can just send a message on the phone. So the issue here is, what makes brand lose value is when they fail to stay with the trends, to maintain the trends, because you need to do that. That's why all big businesses in the world are those who are, every year, they are having a small innovation. They just add a small innovation to their product. A good example, iPhone. So iPhone is the same iPhone, same phone, and they will just change camera. There was one camera, they put two cameras, and they say iPhone 10. As people ask, iPhone 10, iPhone 10, iPhone 10, then they say iPhone Pro. They only reduce the size. As people are talking about iPhone Pro, then say iPhone 11. And this time around it comes back to one camera, but a very big one. Like, what's going on? So it is about keeping up with the trends. And if you want to maintain your brand, you need to understand this secret. So you find most people are still using traditional way of marketing their products. And that does not work now. That's why we have got people with products and they don't even know where to sell, because we are still using traditional ways of doing things. But we need to understand that there is disruption. So if he has a product, I have a product, and all of us want to sell the product. So what happens? I have to disrupt his product by taking a certain route of marketing that he does not take it. And that's how you keep with the trend. So you create a new trend, and people goes to what is trending at that point. All right, okay? I said I've got two, so let me pick this one and that one. All right.
Okay, so here in Malawi, I've noticed that business goes with your personal identity. Most people support you if they know you personally, and some don't support you because they know you personally. So is it good to operate your business without people knowing that it's your business?
Wow, that's what it takes us to what is known as the blue ocean. Okay, blue ocean is a technique of doing business differently. When you are doing business, there is what is known as the blue ocean technique. Blue ocean technique is this. I went to build Goshen City far away from Lilongwe, and the people came to me and said, why do you go and build Goshen City in Mangochi far away from Lilongwe? And I said, it's so simple. I said, I'm running away from competition. So there are many hotels in Lilongwe, many apartments in Lilongwe, so many things in Lilongwe. So if I come and do the same thing here, guess what? Competition is high. So in the blue ocean strategy in business, you don't go in the ocean where there are sharks and think you survive there eating also the same fish. Those are already big. They have already taken over that area. So the blue ocean strategy states that you must leave that area, go far away where there are no sharks, create your own environment. Create your own environment where there's no competition at all. So that's your own space. So in this strategy, everybody's doing things in the same way, but you come with the same product and create a strategy that there is no competition around you. I remember somebody asked me a question and said, so how do you create competition? How do you handle your competitive advantage? I said, I don't compete with anyone. What I create as business, I make sure there's no competition. Because the moment there's competition, you will lose. They're already sharks. They're already big people. It's like going to South Africa and they say, I want to open a boutique. There are big companies in South Africa. They're already known. You find the Gucci, you find all big shops already there. You want to make it. So you need to create. So what your question is, there are people who already know you. Create your own market which do not exist. More special marketing. Create your own market which does not exist. And that is the most important thing that I would actually say. If you want to do business, okay, for example, let me give a good example for someone who wants to start a business for a boutique, to have a shop. Now we have a lot of shops in Lilongwe. The competition is high. But how will you create one that has got no competition? So you have now to come up with a brew strategy. The first thing that you must understand is where do they get their products? And where do they sell? And who buys clothes in Lilongwe? Who buy them? So you may find out, for example, people who much buy the clothes, the age group is between 25 to 35, who buy a lot or who like shopping. Okay, and what do they like shopping? So you find that you put your shop in a location where most age group of that area who like shopping are adults. And you're putting there clothes for niggers. So you need to know that, for example, if you go to area 40, area 10, area 12, and you put up a shop there and you put yo, nigga, all these type of clothes, no one will buy them. Because the market, this side, is for people, old people, people who are 40s and people who know what they're doing. But if you put the same thing in Ichinsapo, there are so many ghetto. The ghetto will understand you because that's them. The ghetto life will understand you because they want that. So you find that the most markets people create, they create a competition with the products which they can't compete with because they have put their thing in the wrong place. Last question, what was that? Yeah?
Okay, so if I heard you correctly, you said the first most important thing we should do is to create like a brand equity, right?
Yeah.
But it boils down to creating value. So I wanted to know what are the first, maybe a list of 3-5 things that you would advise me and the rest to do so that we create that value.
Number one, knowledge. As I said, knowledge is very important. Very, very important. I knew myself, I did theology at the school as my first thing. I did theology. Eventually, when I began to do business, I saw it's important to add value. And I began to do business administration. Why? Because I know I needed that. Not for job employment, but for my personal knowledge. And I had to do that. So first is knowledge. As I said it before, you need to have knowledge of what you're doing. Number two, you need to create partnerships or connections. As I said it before, it's not just about what you know, but who you know. So connections are very important. This is part of building value. All right? As I said it before, just by one knowing that Major One was in that place, they sold their mind immediately. Because people knew that he is connected to Major One. And I don't know what they were thinking, but they thought his connection with that guy, he might invest there. And I had no even idea of investing there. But value was added over that business because of just connections. So sometimes value is built by your connections. The same thing on products. People talk again and again, different people speak of value addition. I think it's the most common topic now about value addition and all that. So value is very important. So knowledge is very important. Two, connections or partnerships. That's very, very important. And number three, as I said, self-discipline. Never give up. Never quit. no matter what. It's very important. Self-discipline. Self-discipline. And number 4, as I did mention before, that your personal or your personality, your business, your personal business personality. A good example I said before, how you handle yourself, how you think, how you talk, how you plan. These things are very important. We don't talk with them in entrepreneurship, but they're very important. How do you talk? You can't come to me and say you want sponsorship for a big, big business and you have got your cape facing this direction. All right? So your self-discipline, how do you talk? So I'm telling you, I had a friend of mine who all the times was traveling first class, business class. Wherever he's going, he's in business class. And I remember one of my friends was like, this guy will become poor because all the times he uses the money into business class. But to the contrary, actually he's the richest now because he was preparing himself. He was thinking of his value. He was thinking of his value. So your personal discipline, how you stay, how you relate, how you spend your money, do you go for, I remember one gentleman came to me and they said, I want to do business. I said, okay. You want to do business? I'm looking for capital. And he had iPhone 14. I'm like, so you have iPhone 14 and you have got no money for? And if you ask everyone now, they'll be talking about, I need an iPhone. For what? For what? Myself, I stayed with iPhone 12 until this year when I bought a new one. For almost 3 years. And I've got the money to buy. I can even buy 20 in a day if I want. But what do I value? What are my values? And that's what's important. And people be like, until now you're using iPhone 12. Until now you're using iPhone. I'm like, yeah, I have no money to play with. So you find someone right now in this room, actually I'm talking to you, there's someone in this room is looking for iPhone 14. It's good. But as I said before, sometimes self-discipline. You can actually get a phone that is good for communication and use the other money for a business. I have a cousin who was coming to me all the times. I need money. I need money. I said, I gave him money. 2 weeks, he wants some more money. 2 weeks, he wants some more money. I gave him money. Next time I said, I'm not going to give you any money. He said, what do you mean? I said, the money I'm giving you now is capital. It's not the money to spend. So I gave this guy 300,000. I said, go and buy 2 pigs, a male and a female, put them in a village and come and tell me. So he went, he bought 2 pigs. And 2 pigs produced 15 piglets. You know pigs. And the 15 piglets produced, almost each was producing 15, 14, 15, a lot of pigs. And the guy came to me, he's like, I don't know what's happening now. I've got a lot of pigs. I'm like, okay, now find the companies that make sausage and become a supplier. So this man, until today, he makes 2 million a week. Until today. But he was begging for money every single 2 weeks. And he's making 2 million. And so simple. So it's all about how you think, what you think. You'll be thinking so many complicated things. As simple as raising pigs. And he's making money. He's supplying the meat to a sausage making company. So in short, I think we have no other question. Do we? The managers for time, how many more minutes do I have? 1 minute?
I'm going to give you 10 more minutes.
1 minute.
Okay, 1 minute.
5 minutes, 5 minutes, fine. 5 minutes.
All right, that's fine.
Okay, yeah? Yeah, the microphone just right there.
Okay, so I have a question. It has to do with how you talked about who you know. So, for example, I just wanted personal advice, like personal tips. We are organizing an event. It's called Podfest next month. So we have to sell a lot of tickets. And I know I've shared in groups, statuses, but people are still not coming. So I wanted to know how, you might have connections. I have friends who graduated, family, but how do you maximize your connection? You have the connection, but how do you maximize so that you can have what you want from the connection?
A good example, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
In this city of Lilongwe, right, you know Lilongwe is so difficult to the things of God, and that's a fact. There are few men of God who comes in this city and have a huge number of people. I came in the stadium, I think 2 years ago, I had an event in the National Stadium. All right, probably it's one of the few events that filled that stadium to capacity. That stadium which you see there, to capacity. I had an event in South Africa in the Coca-Cola Dome. It takes 25,000. Okay? I will not talk about the stadium in South Africa, the biggest stadium in Africa, and the second biggest stadium in the world. I will not talk about that. I filled that several times, but I will talk about particularly this Coca-Cola Dome, which takes 25,000 people. And it was more like a motivational main conference, and people were paying and were buying tickets. And I filled it within 1 hour. All tickets were sold. So it's your question to say, how do you do that? Simple. First of all, what you are trying to sell, people basically will not buy anything which they don't know. So I think if you want to sell those tickets, in this room actually, I can promise you, they don't even know about it. Do you know about it? They don't. So how would they buy what they don't even know? So first of all, we need awareness. And that's marketing. So I think that from the first way, we need you to understand that any business to thrive is awareness, it's marketing. As I said before. So you can maximize, find some celebrities in Malawi, some musicians in Malawi, talk to them, let them talk for you, and you go home and sleep. That's what I meant when I said who you know. So find someone you know. And they say, can you go into business partnership and talk to them? Let them begin to post on their social media. It's about who you know. More than what you know. You know about the event, but you don't know nobody. So know someone. You will see. Last question.
The last one.
All right, so mine is more of a request, not rather a question. Then it's a request directed to you. You talked very much about knowledge when it comes to building something. As a young entrepreneur, I've been involved in building my organization for 3 years now. And I'm tackling a topic which in Malawi is not really given that much attention, but I know that it actually has value, and that topic is mental health awareness. So what I'm requesting from you is more of, how can I gain access from you in terms of mentorship? I want knowledge, nothing else.
Our biggest problem in Malawi is when people in China, they were learning in primary school, they learn about parts of a phone. As we are learning about the abdomen, the head of a grasshopper. We are learning about the thorax, the antenna, of a grasshopper. So knowledge in business, we never learned much. And most of us now, it's actually our personal research. Let me tell you something. The business you learn in class is just basic. What you learn in class is not what is on the ground. Nobody must lie to you. That's why I've got many poor educated people, because it is not what you learn in class that is on the ground. Trust you me. Trust you me. What you learn in class is for us to know basics. It's basics. It's knowledge to know. But now, going in the streets, you must be a person who has got so much knowledge. And this knowledge could come from class or experience. It's both knowledge. So your question is knowledge. How do you acquire it? So it's either experience or acquired knowledge. Because there are types of knowledge. There are 4 types of knowledge. There is acquired knowledge, which is there. So you can acquire this knowledge either through class, learning, mentorships, as here, or you can also acquire knowledge through experience. So both is knowledge. So your issue is, how do you get mentored in business? Exactly. That's why wonderful people like organizers of this event, they gave you guys an opportunity so that you can be having such type of lessons from wonderful people who spoke before me. They spoke wonderful things and great things. And I hope we learned something and you learned something. My 5 minutes is finished?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Let's rise on our feet and put our hands together again for Prophet Shepard Bushiri. Let's stand up. We can do better. Thank you so much for that brilliant presentation and for tackling almost all the questions that our young entrepreneurs had today. When you were speaking, I could see Dumisani and the rest of the team looking at each other because you almost spoke what he spoke. He baptized us with that wisdom before you came. And then people were like, did you see that? Yes. The whole room was like, wow. Yeah, so that's how blessed we have been today. We have learned the same things twice from different radical entrepreneurs, and for that, it's a very big blessing. Let's put some hands against. Yes. Our guest of honor, Prophet Shepard Bushiri, Dubisani, our guest speaker, the Minister of Youth from Zambia. This marks the end of our program today. But before we dispatch, remember we had a pitching competition. The young entrepreneurs who pitched, you have to be notified that the results for that pitch competition is going to be announced on Zodiac Online TV, news. They're going to put a post on Zodiac. So when that happens, we will list you and tell you what you have won. Okay. Maybe I should just say one of the rewards. You're going to have an unpaid up trip to Zambia, to one of the big brands, just for you to learn how they do the things. We hope that when you do that, when you come back here, you'll be able to do things differently. So that's just one of the rewards. So at this juncture, I say we can dispatch. But before that, let one person close with a word of prayer, because we started with an opening prayer.
Let us pray. Father, we thank you, for you are the Lord who gives us wisdom and power to make wealth, and you have also taught us to occupy until you come. Lord, it's my prayer in the name of Jesus, the knowledge that we have acquired today, we will use it, and Lord, bless whatever we are going to do, so that God will move forward and excel in this life. As we are leaving this place, be with us. In the mighty name of our Lord Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.